Greetings, my magnificent ones. I'm your Magnificence mentor, Sue Paulson. Welcome. This is the third in the Heart of Magnificence series. Last time we talked a little bit about perspective and changing our view of the way we thought things always were or could or always had to be. Today I want to talk about the gift of you. Have you ever considered the idea, the notion that you're the gift coming to planet Earth as this, first of all, this little twinkle in a parent's eye, and then this little seed that grew into this fascinating little human being? You are the gift to your parents, the gift to all the loved ones that surrounded you, the gift to the world, and probably most importantly, the gift to yourself, because you came here to experience the physicalness. You came from the limitlessness that was spirit to fit yourself into this little body that grew, that had challenges and constraints and all kinds of things. Why? All for the purpose of exploring, of expanding, of growing. And here we are. But how often in the course of our growing did we lose the idea, or maybe even never got it in the first place, that we were a gift? Maybe you, like me, were a difficult child, an obnoxious teenager, a struggling young adult who couldn't find their way left, right, center, whatever. And of course, as we experience all of that, we come into this idea that, well, we're just not enough. We're not measuring up. We haven't been able to fit in any kind of box or go along with whatever society dictates, that mainstream says, well, this is where you're supposed to be by now, and you're not there, so there must be something wrong with you. Well, believe me, we don't need fixing. We are who we are in all our magnificence, and just the way we are is a gift. Even if it annoys your younger, older brother, your parents, your boss at work, it doesn't really matter. You're a gift. I don't think a lot of us think about it this way. Oh, I thought when I was younger, as I learned to serve others, that was a big thing in our family, that you looked after everybody that you came across that needed help. And even if they didn't need help, you did your best to look after them anyway. So I learned to serve, and I learned to get a certain amount of satisfaction out of serving. But it what it seeded for me was the ground that said, okay, now Sue, you're a servant. And so I didn't factor into that equation at all. I just thought, well, that's my job, that's my role, as I'm here to serve, and so that's it. But there were desires that were bubbling up in me. There were things I wanted to be, things I wanted to accomplish, things I wanted to do that didn't fit mainstream. So for lots of years, I paddled upstream, and my boat, in trying to fit into mainstream, there I am paddling upstream, and my paddles didn't work that well. It was a tough struggle and a slog, and I'd maybe get up 2 feet and then slide back 6 feet. So it was a fruitless effort. Well, at some point in my life, I turned my boat around and I began to paddle downstream and try that on. And I discovered I liked it a lot better, a lot better. Part of that process was to give myself credit for who I really am as a magnificent being, to give myself credit for knowing what my heart's desire was, and having the the gumption, the determination to follow that path. Oh, there were times when it wasn't easy, and I certainly had my share of naysayers who I'm sure felt that I was way off track and what was going to become of me. I know my dad was sure concerned about what was going to become of me. Well, Dad, you know what? I turned out okay. I turned out okay. Even though you worried, you didn't need to worry because I turned out okay. And you turned out okay, even though you didn't need to worry. So we all turn out just fine. Even sometimes in our darkest moments, there's still that soul part of us that is just bathed in magnificence, where everything is perfectly fine and as it's meant to be. But it takes some work to shift that around. It takes a great deal of courage, quite frankly, to not go along with what doesn't serve you. I see in our world we're spending so much time doing this in-depth analysis about what is wrong with us as human beings. Oh, we're diagnosed with attention deficit. We're diagnosed with eating disorders. We're diagnosed with all kinds of alcohol abuse and on and on and on and on and on. And then of course there needs to be some kind of protocol to fix us. You know, we're too sedentary, we're too involved with our tablets and our phones. We don't talk enough to people. We don't, and the list goes on and on and on. How in the world can we find joy in ourselves and who we really are? How in the world can we ever unlock that magnificence that's inside us when we allow this bombardment of, oh, here's what's wrong, here's what's wrong, here's what's wrong, here's what's wrong. Oh my goodness, stop the record and put the new record on. Okay, I came from the days of vinyl, and I'm happy to see that vinyl is making a comeback. So, but I had the original vinyl. And and when they talk about it, well, it just sounds like a broken record. Well, that's literally what happens is you get a scratch in the record, and it just goes wah 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 wah. Well, aren't you tired of that? Don't you want to play a new song? Don't you want to play the song that's in your heart, or sing the song that's in your heart, hum the song that's in your heart that says, oh, I'm just playing a role here on planet Earth. Deep down, I'm really that magnificent. And of course, how magnificent of me to play this role, to agree to go along. And it looks like I'm having these terrible challenges and there's all kinds of things that are wrong. And really, everything's just going along just the way it's meant to. And there'll be a day when I'm back in the spirit realm, when I'm going to put my feet up on the that ethereal coffee table and say, what a ride. That was quite a ride. So we need to lighten up, and literally lighten up, where we don't take ourselves so seriously. We carry around all that crap from little days when we don't have enough power in our minds and hearts to think, no, that's not right. What they just told me is not right. We have no discernment then, but we do now. And so maybe it's time to just open up your hands and drop those bags of whatever nastiness you've been carrying around and decide, I can walk away from this. I can just walk away, turn my face to the sun, and enjoy who I truly am, which is magnificent. So that's my thought for today. So please think about how mired you might be, but don't give it a lot of weight and say, oh, well, that was happening then. This is now. What do I want to do now? If you're getting something from my channel, please subscribe. I'm trying to build my audience a little bit. Oh, excuse me. I had a frog in my throat. And we'll look forward to carrying on with this discussion as we go. Now go be your magnificent self, okay?